Hi, I hope you're doing well. And yes, this is yet another video of me talking. I will be telling you about the things that I have planned for this month, and perhaps a little bit after that as well. But I also want to discuss something with you that caught my attention lately. Now, just yesterday I saw a post of Soma, the ones that make the Lyra 8, as well as the Lyra FX EURORANT module and the new and awesome Pulsar 23. So Soma asked on their Facebook page if anyone can recommend a native speaking gearhead to review the Pulsar drum machine. I know there's at least one person that suggested me, and I'm sure if you're even watching this video, you're kind of interested in how the way I do things. So it would be great if you would go to the Facebook of Soma and suggest me as a reviewer for that awesome drum machine. Last month when Ben Jordan did an awesome review about it, it was kind of brief but really interesting. I was so overwhelmed by how amazing this thing sounds and operates that I went looking online what the price is, and I was really disappointed that it's several thousands of euros. So no, it's an awesome thing, but at the moment it's just priced way too high, at least for my budget. So while I was scrolling through the comments on that post, I noticed that a few people mentioned that they really don't like that culture of synthfluencers. Now, I've encountered that term before, but I always thought that it was kind of tongue-in-cheek, jokingly, just a wordplay on how ridiculous all this influencing is. Really, when I see people calling themselves influencers, I always think, yeah, you can always try to influence me, because at least when I think of influencers, I can't imagine that someone who is somewhat self-aware will ever be influenced by the really strict template that these influencers always use. So I really didn't take that word synthfluencers seriously, really. And just last week or 2 weeks ago I had a chat with someone who also mentioned this, that everyone has the same modules in their rack, and then I'm talking about EURORANT systems, and it's all because of those influencers. And I really have a hard time understanding the reality of that concept. And while it's true that the bigger companies, the bigger makers like, I don't know, Make Noise or IntelliGel, or there's so many makers, they have enough funds to send around modules to every possible well-known YouTuber out there. So of course those modules, that gear is going to generate a lot more content than, let's say, a phaser by a guy called Cinnamodec in Spain, because that guy just simply doesn't have the funds to send his gear all over the world. So while I think it's only logical that certain modules of certain brands get a lot more airtime, I don't think that musicians in general are really sensitive to this kind of influencing and pushing of certain modules or gear in general. So my point is, whenever someone sees a really interesting video, or maybe 20 by different YouTubers, it's only going to be as interesting as the module is. And I'm sure everyone that has played around with EURORANT very well knows that it's all about how you connect things up, which VCOs you use, filters, just what voices you use, what mixer you use. It's never all about one module. So even if they were trying to fool us into thinking that something is really cool while it's not, I really think that the EURORANT community just isn't that ignorant. Another thing I saw mentioned somewhere about those synthfluencers, which by the way I don't feel I am, and probably someone will think, of course not, you only have 1,000 subscribers, and I know, but as time goes on, I'm sure, or I hope, that my channel will keep growing, and I'm wondering at what point will people look at me as a synthfluencer, and will it have a negative connotation to it or not? Because when I see the word synthfluencer used nowadays, it's either jokingly or really negative. So the other thing I saw mentioned was that most people really crave content where it's not all about showing what the wave of an oscillator looks like on a scope or something nitpicky about some voltage control. No, they want to see signal flow inside a studio. How do you assemble your tracks, or how do you create a sound? And of course, most of the time this includes more than just one instrument or one module. But for a fact, I know there's a lot of content creators that actually show this. I'm thinking about Ricky Tines, Igor, Mylar Melodies and Loopop. Even Andrew Wong has in-depth videos on how to create certain things and the signal flow in his studio. And Andrew Wong is really, for me, the epitome of what I think people call a synthfluencer. And when you look at people like Look Mom No Computer and Heinbach or True Cuckoo, I mean, I've seen all of them being called synthfluencers, and I really don't think, if the word synthfluencer has a negative connotation, I really don't think that's fair. There's just a lot of content, and you just need to watch the right YouTubers for what you want to see. Anyway, if you have any opinions on this matter, please leave it in the comments. I'm really interested to know what you guys think about this, because I've been thinking about this a lot the last few days. Now, enough of this ranting, so let's rant some more about something else. I want to tell you what my plans are for May and the next month as well. The first thing that needs to happen is making a rather in-depth video about the new all-in-one complex synthesizer module or standalone unit called Imaginary Friend by Error Instruments. This boy here. I've been using it for about a week now, trying out different ways to patch it up. The module will officially be announced or released, I should say, the 9th of May. Now, I'm totally aware there's some controversy around Error Instruments, or perhaps not controversy. What I noticed that people are either completely against them, they hate everything they do, or they are completely in love with them. Error Instruments really has their fans. And I think, just like with any maker, I'm somewhere in between. It depends what module we're talking about. And to be fair, Paul Tass from Error Instruments has helped me tremendously by sending me a lot of modules for me to make videos about, and it's always interesting for me as a relatively new YouTuber to reach different people, different crowds. But of course, I'm not completely ignorant about the things that are being written around the internet about the build quality of Error Instrument modules. And of course, I'm not the one to disagree with someone if they had a bad experience. That's completely legit, that's completely valid. And just to show you, there's this little new CV mixer that I received. I can show you that the knob on this thing, it's wobbly. And in fact, while all the modules, or a lot of them actually kind of do the same thing, there's actually one module by Error that I really like, and that's this liquid glitcher here. I just really love the feature set on this one, even though it has the same flaws as any other module that doesn't have knobs on it that are mounted to the front panel, but instead to the PCB. So there's Imaginary Friends that I need to do a review video about, and there's Lucifer, which is in my rack here. I don't know, I think it's just off screen, and Broken Tape. Yeah, so there's quite a few Error Instrument modules that I still need to cover. But apart from Imaginary Friend, those are not a priority at the moment. So after the video about Imaginary Friend, I really want to tackle the video about the Xeox devices Jena. Due to a really malicious problem with my computer, I actually had to erase my complete hard disk and do a clean install, so I lost a lot of preparation that I already did for that video, a few diagrams that I was actually really pleased about, so I really need to remake these first. Then there's of course still step 8 that needs to be covered, but as everyone that's interested in step 8 by Duralog knows, there's some delays, so at the moment I'm really waiting for that module just like anyone else. After that I want to make a video about how to connect the Xeox devices Leibniz modules together. I've been contacted this week by a really friendly guy from France who has made some kind of patch bay to make chaining these Leibniz modules in different orders really hassle-free, so it's not necessary to unscrew them and get them out of the case to rewire how they interact. So I think that will be really interesting. After that I plan to do some kind of meetup with a maker, someone in Belgium. I'm really excited about that, because how I experience these EURORANT makers is that they are all really involved with the people that use their gear. All of them seem to be really down to earth and in touch with what's happening in the EURORANT community, and I really love the passion I am feeling in that community. So it would be cool by visiting some makers, starting with one of course, I hope in July, to be able to show some behind the scenes footage, how these makers work and how they come up with ideas, and just to have a nice chat with them. So I think that will be it for this ranty video. If you have any questions or you have an opinion about something I said, or you agree or you disagree or none of the above, please leave it in the comments if you have anything to say. And by the way, the music in the background is from an album I made last year. And if you like this kind of vaporwave sound, it's all software by the way, there's no hardware involved in that album. And that's the first time I do anything like that. Normally it's all hardware, but I wanted to make an album completely in software because I really hadn't explored that before. So if you like that, there's actually a discount code that's valid until the 11th of May, I think, next Wednesday. It should be on screen right now, and if you enter that code you will get a 90% discount. I wanted to make it completely free, so 100% discount, but apparently that's not possible. Bandcamp won't allow that. Thank you very much for watching this video. Bye.